I've been giving and receiving running related gifts for the past 20 years, and today I'm going to take you through all the best ones for any price range. Let's get straight into it, starting with gifts under £20 that could be perfect stocking fillers. So there are quite a few things in this list that are very safe for any runner, because we could never possibly have too many of certain things. And the first of these things is gels. If you watch this video, you'll know that my favourite gel is the Science and Sport gels, and you can pick these up pretty cheap on Amazon. I will leave a link to everything that I mentioned in the video in the description. Another very popular brand that a lot of runners love is High Five, and a third rogue pick for the gel is the Styrkur gel. Both me and my dad absolutely loved this gel when we tried it, and I'm sure that your favourite runner will too. The next thing that me and millions of other runners would never turn down is some more electrolytes. I personally use the SIS electrolytes for daily life, but if the runner that you're buying for is a particularly heavy sweater, you should maybe go for something with a bit more sodium in it, like the Pure Sport electrolytes. And honestly, I don't know anyone who doesn't want some salt for their Christmas. Next up is a game changer if you've found yourself running marathons, or even worse, in a relationship with someone who does, and that is BodyGlide. Basically, what this does is it stops all your bits and bobs that usually rub together from rubbing together. This doesn't always work 100% of the time, but it's a really good gift, good for a stocking filler, and there's a his and hers version. Another great gift for a runner who has to get all their mileage done in the dark this winter is a head torch. And if you do end up deciding that a head torch is the perfect gift, I can't promise that your runner won't go explore the canal or the local fields, so you're probably going to have to make them take a phone with them. And the phone fits perfectly in this running belt, which I use all the time. Every run I do, I've got this running belt on. Perfect for extra storage. I've even raced marathons in it, and sometimes I just wear it out and about because it's like having extra pockets that nobody knows about. I love this. It's been on every item list video that I've ever made. Moving on to my next tip. One thing that I have spent money on is a good quality running belt. And great gift for making sure the phone gets taken on the run, holding the gels, anything you could possibly imagine will fit in here. On the flip side of this, a great gift for someone who wants to run parkrun but doesn't want to do it with their phone is a parkrun wristband. So how parkrun works is everyone has their own unique barcode. It gets scanned at the end, and that's put with your time so that you appear in the results. So this wristband comes with your barcode on it. It's personalised. It's a really cool gift for anyone doing parkrun. Moving on to something that's always neglected by runners, and that is strength training. Nobody wants an injured runner. The runner doesn't want to be injured. The person dealing with the runner doesn't want them to be injured. So encourage them to strength train by getting them a resistance band so that they can do a lot of strength work around the house. Another good option is a step for calf raises. Shout out to anyone who remembers aerobic steps from the 90s. And also a Swiss ball for hamstring curls. And a fourth option would be a dumbbell for weighted stuff like glute bridges. And if all these suggestions just make you think, I wish they would just go to a gym, get them a gym membership. Encourage the runner that you know to do strength training. You will not regret it. They'll be big and strong, and they won't be injured, so they'll be happy. Finally, if your runner has far too much time on their hands and spends all their time scrolling through Instagram or YouTube, subscribe if you're enjoying the video by the way, then you should probably get them some running books. Now, the great thing about running books is that everyone loves reading about running, and you can get books that are more biography based, and you can get books that are this thick and educational. So depending on how much time you want your runner to spend reading books, there's an infinite selection, and I honestly don't know any runners who wouldn't want to spend their free time reading about more running. Finally, let's transition from the sub £20 category into the £20 to £50 category, using a few what I'll call normal people gifts, which just means the kind of gift that you could give to a normal person, but is still running related. The first is a Strava activity mug. Now, my favourite thing about this gift is that you could get it for the amazing marathon performance that someone worked their entire life for, or you could get them it for their 2x20 second strides that they uploaded to Strava. It's completely up to you. Next up is a medal holder. I've linked this one that's $24.99 from Amazon, honestly because I just think it's the coolest, and it's the one that I'd be most likely to get if I was to get a medal holder. But there's a lot of options here, so shop around, see what one you like the best, and get that. Finally, if a mug wasn't enough for you, you can also get this personalised marathon poster. And if you're watching this as a non-runner and thinking, surely the medal's enough, it's not. We will do anything to remember our best marathon performance, and a big poster above our bed is the perfect way to do that. So let's officially start the £20 to £50 category, how we started the sub £20 category, and that's with carbs. Specifically, carb drink mixes. These are what the professional runners tend to go for, so I'm sure that your favourite runner will thank you for buying them some drink mix and making them feel fast. Maurten is pretty much the gold standard for drink mixes, but that only just sneaks into the sub £50 category. And actually, speaking of Maurten being quite overpriced, they have a caffeine gel which again is just under £50. However, I think pre-race, if you're looking to get carbs and a caffeine hit, the Maurten caffeine gels are the best on the market. But there is a reason why they weren't included with the previous gels, and that's because they're like double the price. The alternative brands that I recommend for drink mixes are the same ones that I recommended for gels, Science and Sport and Sturker. I've tried them both, they taste lovely. Moving on. Next, I'm going to give you a couple of items of clothing that will be very well received as a gift. A couple of these will fall into the sub £20 category, but I don't want to start splitting things up and wasting your time. So let's just quickly run through a broad clothing category. First up is 3 things that I mentioned in my last video. Those are a snood, arm warmers and thick waterproof gloves. Great for the cold weather, can't recommend them enough. Another thing I think is important to mention is a reflective running jacket. Now, this isn't something that I personally own, but I've seen a couple of people out with them on last week, and the amount of light that comes off these things is incredible. You cannot miss a runner in one of these reflective jackets. The car lights just like bounce off them. I've linked one that gets great reviews on Amazon. I'm sure it's great, so treat your runner to safety this Christmas. Moving on now to 2 gifts that I will call performance enhancers. So if you want your favourite runner to PB in their next race, or just get home from their Sunday run a few minutes earlier, these are the gifts for you. First up is Bicarb, something that I've been using for a good few months now. This, in my opinion, is better for shorter distance races than the marathon, sort of 5k, 10k. So if you know someone who's doing more park runs, this is probably a really good option. It's cheap, it will most likely make you run faster. It's certainly made me run faster, and I definitely recommend it. And if you're looking for a marathon performance enhancer for your friend or partner, you should try Nomio. So this is something that's been getting a lot of hype from elite athletes on Instagram. So if you know someone who scrolls a lot at Instagram and gets FOMO, they will probably really appreciate this gift. Moving on to the final category, I'm going to give you things over £50 that I think are very much worth the money for someone that you love. And the first on this list is the sponsor of today's video, the Bob and Brad Q2 Pro Mini Massage Gun. Now, this is something that I've taken with me absolutely everywhere in the past few months, and if you're buying a gift for a runner who's always complaining about sore legs or tightness, this is absolutely perfect. It's powerful enough to get deep in the muscles of any legs, trust me, and it comes with this head which has both a hot and a cold setting. I'm still amazed at how hot and how cold it gets. I'm always using the hot setting just because it warms up the legs so nicely, it feels great, and even if you're buying for an old school runner that you think might not like a device like this, I personally know the most old school runner there is, and he's never got this out of his hands. It's lightweight, it's sturdy, and it even comes with this carry case which has another 4 heads on top of the hot and cold one. So thank you very much to Bob and Brad for sponsoring this video. I'll leave a link to the massage gun at the top of the description, along with a 10% off code just for you guys. Let's move into the next gift. Moving quite a way up the price ladder from the massage gun, we have Shokz earphones. So not only do these sound great, but they also don't actually go in your ears. So you can hear traffic, you can hear people shouting abuse at you. You're much less likely to get run over or sneak attacked from behind. There's also quite a few races now that don't let you wear regular earphones. So these are kind of the only option if you want to listen to some tunes while you're racing. Moving back to performance enhancers, you could treat your athlete to a 16-week Ryan Thompson training plan. Now, these are fully personalised for your athlete, or if you've been really good this year, for you. And I also offer full one-to-one coaching where the training will be planned every week and we can have calls and back and forth chats on WhatsApp to discuss how we think the training is going, make any tweaks that are necessary, and just have a really good time talking about running. If you're interested, great. If you're not, then you might want to get your runner a GPS watch. My specific recommendation for this is a Coros. Again, this has been a new addition for me, something that I've only started using in the past few months. I spent about 10 years using a Garmin and finally had just had enough of the GPS and the battery life. Had heard so many good things about Coros, so made the switch, and it's just been complete night and day. I will never go back to Garmin. It was a big switch for me, losing 10 years of activities on Garmin Connect, but it's been so worth it. The app is better and the screen is a lot more customizable. You also have the option to switch for this nylon band, which I do have but haven't used yet. And if a GPS watch is a bit out of your gift giving price range, which fair enough, you could go for this heart rate strap, which goes around the arm, and I've found it to be pretty much 100% accurate. Way more accurate than the wrist heart rates that come with the watch. And this can also attach to Garmin's, so the person that you're buying for doesn't even have to have a Coros, but they can still use the Coros armband. As far as I'm aware, they are pretty much the only brand who does this. A lot of other brands do the chest strap, but this is just amazing because you forget it's there. I'm sometimes come back my run and an hour later still have this on. Probably should have had a shower by that point, but now, one thing that I had to include on this list, even though you've definitely already thought of it, is running shoes, because nobody can possibly have enough running shoes. My recommendation for this is don't stray too far from what they already wear, and make sure you get a gift receipt. If you buy someone an amazing pair of shoes and they take them back, it's not because they don't love you. We runners are just really quite particular about our shoes. Some shoes work for some people, some shoes don't work for others, and there's really no telling what shoes are going to work for you until you try them on. I'm going to finish up this gift list with a gift that's specifically targeted at my family if they still watch my videos, and that is a sauna blanket, because seriously, what's not to love? You can get all the benefits of heat training without having to leave your house and without having to spend several thousands of pounds on an actual sauna. So sauna blanket, link in the description if any Thompsons are watching. And that's me run out of gifts. I hope that was a wide enough spectrum for you all. Remember to check out the description, it'll be full of links. And if you enjoyed the video or bought any of these gifts, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.